Hello! Welcome back to episode 4 of Minecraft Stoneblock Survival. Last I left off, I was kind of going over, explaining stuff. Ended up doing some more resource gathering off camera like I said I was going to. So, some major things, big differences between last episode and now. I have a few more bonsai pots. Hold on. I have a lot of potatoes. I have seaweed, or kelp. Which, fun enough, how you grow the kelp in it is you put a bucket of water, and then you put the thing in. It's kind of self-explanatory, but some items, like coral, can only be acquired by doing that, especially if you want to get a whole lot. Kelp is going to be especially useful later on, mainly with getting belts. Belts are especially useful in the create mod. Instead of having a chest above the cobblestone, I have a compacting drawer, which is going to make it into the double compressed cobblestone. And if you notice how there's a little lock thing right above, that just means that because it's locked, it doesn't matter if I take all the items out of it, this drawer will stay with just the cobblestone. For that, to get it to do that, you're going to need a configuration tool, which requires an emerald, 2 gold, any drawer, doesn't matter which kind you use, and paper in this format. I also made a linking tool, which you will need to connect them to a controller, which for that one it's the same recipe, just replacing the emerald with a diamond. Not this one specifically, but back here I have made a bunch for all the resources. I made a copper upgrade. For the upgrade, it requires any sort of drawer. Recommendation would be probably go with one that uses not that many resources. But it requires a total of 22 copper ingots, along with two chests. Just the basic upgrade. Multiplies the items by 8. To store all that. Now, if you are wondering what this fine contraption is that we have here, this is the fan. So, firstly, a lot of times when creating power, because starting off earlier, trying to use the mill, I would right-click something like this. It'd use up hunger. This is a mechanical press, which ended up making that via a block of iron, andesite casing, and a shaft. But to make the encased fan, or needed the propeller, needed to crush some, or flatten some iron into iron sheets. But rotating it just was not doing enough to assist. Now, with the fan, right now it is going clockwise, and that is blowing air forward. If you have it at some point turning counterclockwise, it's going to pull items towards it instead. Now, to get between sand and gravel and getting all these different resources, I'll do a quick show with this compressed gravel. Just make it into the regular, and then you right click on these depots. The depots, all they require is one andesite alloy and one andesite casing stacked on top of each other, and it makes these depots, which if you right click with an item, places the item on it. Now, the fan is blowing the air right through the water, which in turn is washed the gravel. That's going to be one of the main ways of getting starter resources. So I have the small gear on the back that's rotating, but connecting the water mill to that, I have one shaft, a large cogwheel, which you just take... Hold on. My cluster muck of inventory. You take a shaft with 2 wood next to it in the crafting grid. Best way of showing it would be like so. That in turn would make the large wheel. Once you have the large wheel, you surround that in slabs on the crafting grid, and it gives you the water wheel. But that large gear is connected to the small gear and attached to the back because it was rotating counterclockwise from the other side. This allows for that to continually rotate. Now, I have that connected to a gearbox, which you surround an andesite casing with. You put 4 gears in a T-shaped cross with the andesite casing in the middle, and it creates a gearbox. Now, normally the gearbox is just flat and allows the rotation to go between all 4 sides. But if you put in the crafting grid, it changes to where it goes directly up, which allows me to put a gear up top there, so it rotates sideways, which is how we are now continually having the mill stone rotating without having to use all my hunger. Over here, I also have a botany plot for wheat, and I also have some cactus going, which I have the cactus on snad instead of just sand. What you do for that is you put 2 sand on top of each other in the crafting grid, and it makes things grow faster on it. I have also upgraded my furnace to an emerald furnace. You just use there are upgrades for it over time. I also made an augment of speed for it, which required sugar, redstone, and either stone or andesite, which halves the cook time of all recipes, but it uses twice as much fuel. So instead of for every 1 coal getting 8 items smelted, you can now only get 4 items for every piece of coal. And as such, I also have all these different drawers. What I like about this is it allows me to visibly see what's necessary. Now, going back to the quest book, got the cobble gen and got the second one. Also did the washing station. Now I could make a no solicitor sign to keep out wandering villagers, but they're not a problem. The crushing wheel takes a lot of kinetic stress as well as a lot of resources. So, to make it requires 1 andesite or stone, 4 wood, and 21 minus 5 is going to be 16, and 16 andesite alloys. But for that, it requires a mechanical crafter. That requires brass, which we do not have at this time, and electrum. We have to complete a few more extra steps before I get to that point, because we're going to need to get soul sand. So, possibly this episode I'm going to be working on making a mob farm. Possibly not. A few of the other quests that I completed in between episodes was the storage. Storage was very useful. I got the backpack and the drawers. The backpack I randomly got from another quest, so didn't have to craft it, but it makes things easier. I also completed a few random quests here and there, like Builder's Wands. That one was a simple one. In a diagonal form, you put 2 sticks and a cobblestone. Bada bing, bada boom. You got the crafter wand. Nowhere close on the exploration, but some of them are useful. I've also completed the Tinker's Tools, which required a part builder, which required 2 patterns and planks of any kind. To make the patterns, you just use 2 sticks and any wood. And the Tinker Station, which required 3 patterns and 4 wood. So this is my Tinker Station at the moment. Another thing I ended up making was this wrench, which required a cogwheel and 3 golden sheets. To make the golden sheets, you just flatten them with the hammer thing. The only reason I don't have this attached to the rest of this is because just with this one water wheel, that would end up putting too much stress on the entire mechanism and would stop all function. Just like you can't wind up a clock too hard, otherwise it just breaks. Now, I did make a pickaxe. It is a stone, copper, and wood. That wood is just so it can heal faster, which you do not have to smelt down the copper to be able to make parts with it, which is nice. Now, eventually, I'm going to need this mechanical mixer, which is going to require 5 iron sheets and 2 andesite alloys. Let's... yeah. Okay, I'm going to make a few of... the andesite alloys, just because I'm gonna need them in just a moment. Also, I got all these honey cakes as a reward, so as much as I have better food sources, this just kind of uses them up, makes it less cluttered. Okay. Now, I don't know if I'd shown this last episode, but to make the andesite casings, you right-click a log, any kind, with an axe to make it into the stripped oak, or a stripped log. Then, you right-click it with an andesite alloy, turns it into an andesite casing. Now, once you make this wrench, this actually makes the create pieces a lot easier. You don't have to waste time mining it and using durability. You can literally just shift right click with the wrench and it'll pick the object up. Now, right here, we made the depot. Why did we make the depot? So that I could have a better spot to put the items, since I need a total of 5. Yeah. Yep, 5 iron sheets. I have the iron ores in here. No, I do. They're in the other barrel. And here's the raw iron. Let's get this cooking, and you'll just see how fast this emerald furnace goes now. While before, in a manner speaking, it would go through quite a bit. It would take quite a while for the ores to smelt. With the speed upgrade, it now takes a minuscule amount of time. I'm just going to let it finish smelting real fast while we wait. I think I should... I'm gonna need at least 2 more. Yeah. 2 more of the andesite alloys, one to make another andesite casing. While the other is going to be used to make the whisk. There we go. Now, my recommendation is when you go to put something on the depot, because it will take the entire stack, just separate the amount that you want to use into one hand and then place it down. And now, and this is the smasher. It also makes a very satisfying ding sound as you use it. And once everything is squished, you'll get it back in your inventory. Now to make this whisk. Are we gonna whisk it all? I don't think so. Okay, that was a doozy of a pun. Oh. What? Oh, it required a gear. Okay, that's gonna be simple enough to fix. Huh. Should have been paying attention. Yeah, with those, actually, with the shafts, you just, with one wood, bada bing, bada boom, got a gear. Mechanical mixer, which, yes, that completed another quest underneath the Create tab. Mix it all up. Oh. Ooh. Basic chemical tank. A lot. It gets really in depth eventually, especially when it comes to the steam engine. But for now, this is going to be simple. And now I have another item that I don't know where to put. Did that place? Did I crash? We shall see. Oh, there we go. Okay. I have a propane tank now. So, as I expand further, eventually we're going to need to go in some way in a direction. I think if I press M, which usually brings up the map, it'll give me a general idea of if there were any sort of dungeons or whatnot further out, which is another way of getting certain resources that are currently not available at this time, then it would show up on the map. But as it looks like the moment, nada. Haven't explored further enough. You know what? For the moment, mixer can go right there. Ooh. And it literally looks like a giant mixing bowl. Okay. Now for a basin. I need 5 andesite alloys. Okay. That's going to be a total of 10 of those. Yep. Andesite with this mod is very crucial. Frustratingly enough. Luckily, we have a whole floor for it. That reminds me, I made another hammer in between episodes. Okay. Which I'll show down in the mines real fast. Which is this diamond fat hammer. Yes, I've cleared out quite a bit of space underneath here. Aha. Yes. And it breaks 3 by 1 by 1s. So, need a quick way to get a lot of resources. These are the kind of tool that you'll want to have. I just made them out of diamond, since diamond does get a little bit more accessible as you wash gravel. only takes 3 diamonds in 3 sticks. Also, if you hold up on the ladder while you're climbing it, it actually takes more time than just looking up. Alrighty. But when you wash sand, you have a chance of getting gravel. Not gravel, clay. Yeah, if you got gravel out of washing sand, that would be a quick way of getting a whole lot of it easily. Now, my next plan in motion, now that I have that going, I'm gonna attempt to make the mechanical crafters. I'll end up probably making them next episode. I just have to collect some resources first. More than likely, I will end up starting off working on my mob farm. There are many ways of making it. I think I'll have a simple setup made probably by next episode. Until then, see you around, and goodbye.